Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ice Cream Uploads here on Friday, the 23rd of June. How are we all doing? This is the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves, and we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. It's 20 past 11 now, and we've only gone live 3 times this week. Yesterday was out of my hands. I had the scoop ready. I had it ready to go. And I was then informed that we was having fire tests throughout the building, including in the studio, including into our production booth. So unfortunately, I couldn't get in there yesterday, as obviously a load of work was being undertaken throughout the corridors and all around Jelly HQ, as we're getting some new fire systems installed in there as well. So it was out of my hands yesterday. I apologise. I was ready to go. I had the scoop ready. I had thumbnails ready, which was today's thumbnails were actually yesterday's, because we was going to cover the Nintendo Direct stuff yesterday. But that's been pushed back for today. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. We are here to give you at least a show today. But yeah, as I mentioned, we are the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. I think this might be the last stream or the last podcast that we do without Graham. I'm fairly certain he is back this weekend at some point. I'm not necessarily sure when, but I'm sure he's back this weekend. There's not going to be any chasing crates with mates tomorrow. Yeah, it's Friday today. It's not going to be chasing crates with mates tomorrow. There will be a stream on Sunday, though. I will be streaming on Sunday. It won't be in the morning, though. My boy, this fella here, obviously is a hell of a lot older now. He's 18 months old. Has his first football training session on Sunday, so I am extremely excited. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning, so we'll be taking him down. Down there early doors and getting his first football training session in. So I will be going live in the evening around about 7, half 7. We're playing some PGA action then as well. So yes, there'll be no streams on Sunday morning. The thing is, if he likes it and he continues to go, it will be every Sunday at 9 o'clock. So my streams will change time. I'm fairly certain it will still be on a Sunday and it will still be in the evening, but that might be the structure going forward, which is obviously a good thing for you guys, because obviously we usually start at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, which most of you are probably still in bed at that point. So if you do want to get into some games and more PG action, etc., 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 you have the opportunity to be able to play games with myself in the evening on Sundays going forward, providing that he actually likes playing football, because this genuinely could just go tits up and he absolutely hates it. But he loves playing football. As it stands, he just picks the ball up 9 times out of 10. So he could be a goalkeeper, or he could be into rugby, who knows. But yes, we'll be streaming this weekend. Definitely not on Saturday. Definitely are on Sunday. So that's the groundwork out of the way. Lakeson here says, get him in at Man United. Do you know what, mate? If he earns me a load of money, he can play wherever he wants. He can with his wages, he can buy me a box at City. How's about that? That works for me, even if he does end up playing for Man United. Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. I know they're obviously Manchester City rivals, and I would much prefer him to play on the blue side of Manchester. But you know what? If he's he's not going to be winning any titles at United anytime soon, so we don't have to worry about that. Maybe by the time he's 18, they might have actually started to book up their ideas, or maybe the Glazers might have left by then. Who knows? Plum Rico's in says back. Howdy! Howdy to you, Plum Rico. Barton Wilson, are you back? I have a feeling that the relation to Plum Rico with the sub, thank you very much, mate. I very much appreciate that. Barton Wilson, I'm fairly certain you are a relation to Graham, or maybe Danielle, and I think that you thought I was Graham. I am not. I'm much more handsome, much younger, much more athletic than Graham. But yeah, I'm not sure when he's back. I think it's this weekend at some point. I'm not necessarily sure when. So yeah, you'll see his face again soon at some point. Jay's here, nice and early as well, says exclamation mark time, beat you to it this time. I put the command bot. I actually left it 2 or 3 minutes after we went live thinking he's going to come in here. I'll give him his exclamation mark time, and then you didn't put it, so I thought, okay, well, that's you out the window then, I'll just put it on. But yes, as mentioned for the 3rd time today, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. And if you are watching this live, thank you very much for joining us. But if you are watching or listening to this on demand after the show's aired, you're probably doing this on YouTube, you might be doing this on Twitch, but chances are you're probably going to be listening to this on your iOS device, whether or not it be a tablet, whether or not it be a phone, or even your Mac, because that is how many, I think it's weighed 75% on Apple devices. You guys are consuming this as a podcast, so thank you to the Apple massive. I mean, I am an Android fan, but you know, we all have our crosses to bear. So thank you very much for listening to this, whether or not you're on you're not definitely not on SoundCloud anymore, whether or not you are on Amazon Music, whether or not you're on Spotify, you're on iTunes, or of course Amazon Music. We got you. We appreciate you. Please give it 5 stars if you're not. If you're already not following this on all social platforms, and please go ahead and give us the old follow. We will very much appreciate it. Nicho's in here and he says Goffs and the Android guys watch it live. Absolutely, mate. Nicho coming in with the clutch comment. JMK says I was driving home. I mean, I don't make the rules, mate. I don't make the rules. I just, give you the tools to be able to give you half decent content and for you to be able to contribute. You didn't do it this time. I'm not going to hold it against you, but do better next time. Of course, just pull over. Do the exclamation mark time. I give you the opportunity. You didn't do it. But anyway, we've got 4 news stories today. Again, I apologize that there wasn't an episode yesterday. It was genuinely out of my hands. We just didn't have access to the studio to be able to bring you on yesterday. We used to be able to do it in another office, another room in the office. But unfortunately, we don't have access to that one when there's other people using it as well. So it was very difficult for me to be able to try and get an episode of The Scoop out for you yesterday without having mics and everything already set up. So again, I apologize. This news is going to be a day late, but we will, of course, be focusing on what came out of the Nintendo showcase. Now, for me, there wasn't a lot in here that interested me. I'm going to be brutally honest. There's a lot of things that got announced and a lot of it that didn't speak to me. I'm not going to go out and say that it was a terrible showcase in that regards, because I know a lot of people only judge it off of what they anticipate or what they think is speaking to them. That's one way of being looking at it, but I think when it comes down to showcases and things, they are very subjective. If it speaks to you, banger of a show. It could just be one announcement in that show, but then it'll be a banger. However, with my thinking hat on and my emotions and everything else taken out of it, I tend to judge it off of tempo, speed, announcements. Is there good gameplay in there? Is there titles that I think will do extremely well? Do I think this will speak to a particular audience that I think might have been deprived of a particular genre for a amount of time? That's how I kind of like to try and score things. But, I mean, it was a decent enough direct, in my opinion. There were just a lot of things that just didn't speak to me. So I suppose we'll get on with that and get straight into the article for you here. Written on Eurogamer by Ed Nightingale, he goes on to say that everything from June's Nintendo Direct, Mario Wonder, Pikmin 4 and Detective Pikachu. So after the release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo's Switch slate was looking a little bit bare bones for the rest of 2023. But after today's Nintendo Direct, we have pretty much clear of what is going to be coming. A look at Pikmin 4 headlining the showcase, plus a reveal of a new Super Mario RPG remake and brand new 2D Mario game. First though, Nintendo showed a fresh look at the forthcoming Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC heading to Nintendo Switch this year. I'm actually looking forward to getting this back off Graham to continue through my playthrough, because I'm playing through Pokemon Violet at the moment, albeit it runs like a load of ass. It is actually a very enjoyable game. I am enjoying the open worldness of a Pokemon game. It has been my first Pokemon game in a hell of a long time. Didn't have a Nintendo 2DS. I had a Nintendo DSi and I never had a 3DS. Samantha did, and she played 2 of the Pokemons on there. I think it might have been X and a completely different one. She enjoyed them. I just never played them. However, I am enjoying my return to a Pokemon game with Violet, so I'm looking forward to getting that back from him to be able to go through it again. Next was Sonic Superstars, a new 2D side-scroller is heading to Nintendo Switch. This trailer gives us a look at some of the Emerald powers which the players can use. Now, this is definitely one of the standouts from the showcase. It's not going to have thingy music on this. We'll be able to show this. It's not going to have copyright music. But yeah, this was obviously part of the showcase. This was on one of the other showcases as well. I'm just going to drop it a little bit because the guy's talking. This was actually on one of the other showcases as well from earlier during the month. I think it might have been the PlayStation one when we got to see a brand new Sonic game, which is obviously being shown on your screens here. This is right on my street. Another 2D-ish, 2.5D, shall we say, Sonic game right up my street in the form of maybe a Sonic Mania type package with some 3D elements that have been put in there as well, maybe when you're going into the Chaos Emerald zones and things like that. This looks fantastic. This is definitely one of my picks of the showcase, as it was during the PlayStation one as well. So more Sonic, yes please, absolutely living for that. A free-to-play live sim called Palio was next, heading to Switch this summer. Why is it so loud? skip forward a little bit. My PC is chugging today, and I don't necessarily know why, because I've got nothing downloaded and nothing running that I don't usually do. So this is very bizarre to me, that it is obviously chugging a little bit. But anyway, life sims, they're not really my types of game. I'm going to be honest. I'm not into the cooking in the back garden and making sure that all your plants are growing and you're going fishing and stuff like that. It doesn't interest me as much as it probably should, to be perfectly honest. But here we are. Moving on to a game that I definitely have no recollection with or kind of affinity with. Persona 5 Tactica, the Persona 5 spin-off, is also heading to Switch, and this was first announced at the Xbox Showcase last week. Next was Myth Force, launched on Nintendo Switch later this year with a kids cartoon vibe. So we'll skip through this a little bit. There we go. So this actually looked okay. I'm not sure how well it's going to run on the Nintendo Switch, because I believe that this probably would run a hell of a lot better on other home consoles, but the art style might be able to give it a little bit of a nudge in the right direction. Obviously with things like Skyrim and that running on the console, Wolfenstein, Doom, all of those run relatively well, so holding out good things for this. It definitely is my type of game. I don't know though, something just strikes me as it not running too well, and I'm not necessarily sure why. But I suppose when the game comes closer to launch, we're going to see a little bit more from it, which I am excited about. And the next was a Splatfest theme will be in ice cream flavors. Are you vanilla, strawberry, mint chip? Decide ahead of the contest. I mean, Splatoon. Is anyone interested in Splatoon? It's not, again, my kind of bag. Next was the trailer for the next long-awaited Detective Pikachu Returns. This isn't necessarily my kind of bag, again, albeit a Pokemon game. The film was fantastic. I've never played a Detective Pokemon game, but I've heard very good things from it, so I suppose it's one to watch out for. Graphically, it's obviously not that great. Pokemon games aren't necessarily the greatest looking games in the world, especially more of the more modern ones. Like the attacking stuff and the Pokemon themselves battling all look fantastic. It's just the world that they don't necessarily seem to nail all that well, and it obviously is down to what we have with the Nintendo Switch. But I think maybe a next gen Pokemon game it'll end up. I feel like things like Pokemon Pokken Tournament and things like that look fantastic, but obviously that is just a battle sim, innit? That is literally just a fighting game, so you're in a very enclosed space, so they can make it look as pretty as possible. But stuff like this, look at the walls and that. You would genuinely think that this was a 2DS game, right? I'm not being harsh, am I? Tell me if I am. But I genuinely think that it does look like a 2DS game or a 3DS game, if you want to be able to go with it for a bit more recent. But anyway, a remake of the SNES classic Super Mario RPG is on the way, and here's a trailer for Malo Angino in all its HD glory. Now, this is definitely something that has my attention. I do love classic Mario games, and I have only played a little bit of Super Mario RPG in my time, and I think it was the 2D. I think it was the DSi version or the DS version way back when. So yeah, I am looking forward to a new. Was it a Game Boy Advance version? I don't even know if they brought one out on the DS. I skipped the 3DS. I don't know if you've gathered that. I skipped the 3DS generation. Samantha didn't. She carried on with it. I had the PS Vita instead. So a lot of these Super Mario games, a lot of these Pokemon games actually passed me by, but I'm sure it was a Game Boy Advance game, the last one that I ended up playing. But yeah, I love stuff like this. I love turn-based games, so this is definitely one to stick on your list as a Bibi approved game to play. Now, there's also been some Princess Peach platformer in the works. It's a side-scroller set in the theatre stage where she'll become some sort of transformative powers. More details will be shared soon. A remaster of DS sequel Luigi's Mansion 2 is also in development for Switch. It will launch with a new Peach game next year. Rockstar is bringing the Batman and Arkham trilogy to Switch, so you can play Asylum City and Night all on the small screens with all the DLC in autumn this year. Now, how many times has everyone played through these games? I have lost count of how many times I have played through these Batman games. Every single time, though, I apologize. Every single time, though, always feels like a new experience. Like, I adore these games. Arkham Asylum is probably one of my favourite games of all time. It's definitely in the top 10. It has absolutely everything going on with that game. Obviously, Arkham City and Night Night was pretty good. I did like Arkham City as well, but I mean, we played these games a million times. This coming to a handheld device now, it's probably going to look like the Xbox 360 versions of these games. It's probably not going to look all that great. However, we get to play Batman portably, so what more can you ask for? But yeah, the fantastic games. Can't wait to see more of them. Gloomhaven, a card-based RPG on the board game, will release on September 18th. Now, I am massively into my card games at the moment. Not playing them IRL. I mean, we do have the Pokemon boards and Yu-Gi-Oh boards and stuff like that in the office. A lot of people play the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, but I'm definitely more of a digital RPG, digital card-based kind of guy. This speaks to me a lot. It looks fantastic. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of this, getting closer to launch. I mean, we're not a million miles away with 18th of September. It's not necessarily around the corner, but it's just in front of the horizon. Just Dance 2024, we don't need to go into this. This has been going around since the dawn of time. More Just Dance stuff. If I play that, 100% copyright. So we'll just leave that one for the time being. Silent Hope is an action RPG featuring 7 wordless warriors and a cute cartoony style, coming on October 3rd. Again, not my cup of tea at all, but it definitely will speak to maybe some of you in the chat. I like the art style. I do think it's... Did anyone play Oceanhorn? That's the kind of thing that I get from this one. I want to say it's not my kind of bag, but it does look like the kind of game that I want to play. It might be just the art style that's turning me off a little bit, because it just does look like a dungeon crawler and a tower builder at the same time. So it could be, but it's this bit that puts me off. It's the looking after your home base and making sure everyone's sound and growing crops and stuff like that. That kind of takes me out of it a little bit. I just want to be able to Diablo my ass through it. Like, go in, kill the dungeon leader, get all the stuff, new armor, new weapons, new abilities. That's the kind of vibe that I want to go for. The tower building stuff, it does take me out of it a tiny little bit. Then we've got Fee Farm, which arrives on the 8th of September. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged arrives on the 19th of October. And Maniac Mechanics will be out on the 13th of July. So that's actually next month. We're not a million miles away from that. But yeah, we again, Fee Farm, Fee Farm. I'm not necessarily sure how you end up pronouncing that one. It's not my kind of game. It's pretty much... We've seen 3 or 4 of these games already in this showcase. Which, if you're not into that genre, can put you off a little bit. Manic Mechanics, that's the word, not Maniac. Manic Mechanics, that's what we're looking for. So this looks like a party game. This looks like a lot of fun. Definitely a couch co-op vibe going on here. Very much in the fashion of... It Takes Two, or what was the Overcooked? That's the one I'm looking for. Overcooked. That the same kind of vibe with that you're going to be going with this. A lot of people arguing, a lot of people scrambling to try and get stuff done. A lot of slaps being had because you're the person that's let the team down. Looking forward to seeing more of that as we go through. So for DLC for the Ubisoft Mario and Rabbids Sparks of a New Hope is now available. It's called The Last Spark Hunter, which is a demo out for the main game. Now, I've never played one of these games, but I've been told that they are fantastic. So this obviously, you have played a Mario and Rabbids game before. This is probably going to be something that you're going to be keeping an eye out for, especially if there's a demo available for you. You'll be able to test it out first. But yeah, a game that I've never played before, or any of them in the franchise. So I'm happy for you guys that are happy for this. Dungeon Quest Monsters. The Dark Prince will see players become monster wrangler, combining creatures into new types to create a whole new army. And this is out 2 days before Graham's birthday on the 1st of December. Now, I've actually played quite a few Dragon Quest games, so I do have some sort of affinity with the titles, but I'm just not in a Dragon Quest mood at this moment in time, and by this time, anytime soon. I think the last one that I played was on PlayStation 4. So yeah, I've been out of the franchise for a while because there seems to be a new one coming out every single year. Especially with likes of Dragon Quest builders and things like that, which probably does have my interest a little bit more than what we've seen from the new Dragon Quest game there. So then moving on. A game that seemingly took everyone by no surprise was Pikmin 4. Will feature night missions for the first time and a brand new glow Pikmin to help out. A demo will be released next week. HD releases of Pikmin 1 and 2 are also available right now for you digitally. So if you are obviously a Pikmin fan and you want to be able to play it on the Nintendo Switch, now is your time to be able to do it. This does not resonate with me at all. I have got no interest in a new Pikmin game. I've got no interest in Pikmin at all. So this is definitely going to be one that I will probably never watch on stream either. But yeah, I know there's been a lot of guys that have been super looking forward to a new Pikmin game. So here you are. You're looking good. So then, we've got Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 on the way to Switch as well as other consoles. It includes Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, as well as the original games for Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. Solid Snake, plus the NES version of Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge. On top of that, this is the first Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novel and its sequel, and it's out on the 24th of October. Now, this is a game, like, when we're talking about the greatest of all time, we have to include at least one of these Metal Gear games. I'm going to go with Metal Gear Solid 1, despite 2 being my absolute favourite. I didn't resonate with Metal Gear Solid 3. I know a lot of people say that is their absolute favourite one of all time, but I probably played 6 or 7 hours of it, and I just never got into it. There was just something a little bit too different from it. I don't know whether or not it's because you have to keep on changing your camouflage and stuff like that. It just didn't sit right with me. However, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2... I will play the ever-loving shit out of these, especially if you can play in portable. Like, this is amazing. It's just a shame that Nintendo doesn't support achievements, because that would honestly make me want to keep on replaying it, getting the infinite ammo bandanas and stuff like that. Absolutely love this. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing more of this as we go along. I might even go back and play Snake Eater just to try and give it some form of love that Graham keeps on telling me about. How was the cruise, bro? I don't know, because I wasn't on it. I think the conversation between you and Graham was taking place. This is the better looking ginger one, slightly overweight. But yeah, I'm Bibby, so I wasn't the one on a cruise. I have still been stuck in Manchester, albeit it's been quite sunny. So I mean, who's really winning? The ever-popular Vampire Survivor will arrive on Switch on the 17th of August, and a game that I've never played. I know it's on Game Pass, and I know a lot of people absolutely love this game. I don't necessarily see the appeal of it, though. Like, I don't know what it is that I don't like, because all the people that I usually trust about video games adore this game. So realistically, judging by their opinions, I probably should like this game. But I don't. It doesn't strike me as something that I want to be able to jump into. Maybe it's one of those that you need to play it yourself to understand it. But yeah, I do like the art style because it's very retro. Like, but yeah, it's not something that I'll be diving into anytime soon. Headbangers Rhythm Royale is a rhythm battle royale game, obviously, the clue's in the name, where you play as a bopping pigeon inside a series of musical mini-games, and it's coming on the 31st of October. Now, I absolutely adore rhythm games, whether or not it would be something like Guitar Hero, Papa the Rapper. Like, it doesn't matter. I've probably played it. I'm struggling to think of them on the top of my head now. But I love these types of games, so this might be one that I'm going to keep on my radar. I'll see what the vibe is for it later on as it comes towards its release time. It does look like it's got a little bit of fun in it as well. It isn't taking itself too seriously, and that's what I enjoy more than anything, just having fun when I'm playing games. So yeah, we'll definitely keep this one on tabs. Penny's Big Breakaway, the new 3D platformer from the team behind Sonic Mania, expects Bright Words and Magical Yo-Yo out early next year. So again, I need to keep on turning this down. As soon as it comes on, it doesn't recognise that I've got it at like 10% volume and just plays at 100 every single time. I don't remember seeing this trailer, so this is new to me as it is to you guys that maybe didn't watch the showcase. Again, I'm not necessarily trying to... Oh, it's a side-scroller. Okay. Oh, no, it's not. It's a 3D environment. Okay, so it's a platformer. Got you. Interesting. So there seems to be a lot of things going on with this one. It looks fun. It looks, like I said, it looks bright and colourful. So if you are up for a new platform, and this might be the one to, scratch the itch, as it were. Moving to the next wave of Mario Kart 8, I cannot believe that this game is still getting supported, but here we are. A brand new course of squeaky clean sprint, as well as new characters, Kamek at last. Coming this summer, so still support for Mario Kart 8. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, racing game of all time at this moment in time. Or, well, definitely most sold racing game of all time. Basically because obviously I had the Wii U in the background as well. But yeah, this is more Mario Kart stuff. If you have been playing the same courses for the longest time, you've got some new ones coming through there as well. So the previously leaked Star Ocean and the second story I will arrive on the Switch on the 2nd of November with a lovely looking retro style. I apologise. My throat seems to be on a right Madden today. So Star Ocean, a game that I do actually own on Xbox 360. I can't remember which one it is though. Oh, 1 second. Right here.
You'll also meet over a dozen potential allies from all walks of life. During your adventure, the hero you
It's not here. This is Fantasy Star.
you make will have an impact on who can be
Star Ocean is in there somewhere. I can't remember which one it is that I've got though. Good looking game. Very good looking game. It's definitely much more up my street with this kind of art style. So yeah, looking forward to seeing a little bit more of this. It's not one that I'm going to be rushing out to be able to go and play. Phony says hydrate, mate. I can't begin to tell you how many drinks I have had today. Mostly water. Like I've had 2 brews and I think I've had like 8 pints of water. In fact, it's more than that because I'm drinking out of a sneak cut. So has it got two pints in this? I'm not necessarily sure. But I have drank so much water. It's because I was at football last night. Shouting at people to track back and stuff. So my voice is just completely gone at this moment. But anyway, we're going to power on. We've got to try anyway. Jesus Christ. Another WarioWare game is in development. WarioWare, Jesus, say that 3 times fast. WarioWare Move It. It has been players shuffling around their Joy-Cons, which could get awkward, and it'll be out on the 3rd of November. Now, again, I've never played a WarioWare game. Like, they just never interested me at all. Like, this isn't fun games to me. This is not my vibe at all. Oh, God, he's definitely not. It's definitely not my vibe. Blimey. But yeah, I mean, if you are a WarioWare guy, you're looking good. Now, this, again, is one of the picks of the bunch. It has been, I think, 11 years since we last got an actual 2D Mario platformer. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of caveats in that way. People are going, but baby, we seem to get them all the time. No, they're remakes or ports of older games. This is a brand new 2D Mario platformer with gorgeous visuals and adorable detailed animations. It will feature Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, and Yoshi as playable characters, in addition to Mario, Luigi, and Toad. More details will be on the way as ahead of its 20th of October release. So this is definitely one that I will be keeping my eyes on. It seems like forever. Well, it has. It's been 11 years since we've seen an actual 2D, brand new 2D Mario game. So definitely one to have on your radar if you are a Mario fan, if you are a 2D platformer kind of person. You are good to go with this one. So that was the Nintendo Direct as a whole. I know I've obviously been through every single game there, but what do you guys think of that as a whole? Like, there was probably 3 games that spoke to me out of all of those games, and I think there was about 15 that got announced during that one. So in terms of what they were speaking to me, there seemed to be a lot of life sims in there, a lot of base buildy types of games where you're going out. What was the game called? It's already escaped my mind. Not Fae Farm, was it? I don't think. But Gloomhaven? No, that wasn't it. That actually looked really good. But yeah, you get my vibe. There seems to be like 3 or 4 of those in there. So if they aren't the ones that are speaking to you, then obviously it's a little bit more of a hard sell. But yeah, as a whole, I think there would be a lot of people that are happy with that. The likes of Metal Gear coming over to the Nintendo Switch, a brand new Mario 2D game. The Dragon Quest monsters, we can yes or no with that one. We'll take it as it comes through. More maps or more courses, shall we say, for Mario Kart. So obviously the Sonic game that's in there too. Like it was a decent showcase from my standpoint, but there's a lot in there for other people. And if those games resonate with you, that was in there, it was probably like a 5 out of 5 for you. More Pokemon stuff that's coming. So yeah, it's a lot to look out for, considering we didn't know we was going to be getting that much more this year. I know some of this stuff is going to be spilt into 2024 as well, of course. But this isn't going to be the only showcase that we're going to see this year. There's going to be one in another couple of months, maybe 3 months max. So we get to see what's going to be coming out in the first and second quarters of 2024 as well. So the fun isn't stopping over at Nintendo. They are still absolutely throwing out games left, right, and center. The Switch is still very much alive. We haven't got any news as to what the next iteration of that console is going to look like. So yeah, I suppose we're going to have to wait and see what happens later on down the line. But yeah, we've still got a couple of news stories left for you today. So this one has been written over on VGC by Tom Ivan, and he goes on to state that Microsoft is raising the Xbox Series X and Game Pass prices. So the subscription price will increase in July, with the console pricing rising the following month. Microsoft has announced plans to increase the price of the Xbox Series X console and Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. The price of the console will rise in August in most countries, excluding the US, Japan, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia, while Game Pass prices will increase in July in most markets, excluding Norway, Chile, Denmark, Switzerland, and Saudi Arabia. We've held on to our prices for console for many years and have adjusted the prices to reflect the competitive conditions in each market, Microsoft's head of gaming communications said in its statement. As reported by The Verge, starting on October 1st, the Xbox Series X will cost $479.99 in the UK, which is €549 across most European markets, $649.99 in Canada, and $799 in Australia. The Xbox Series S pricing will not change in any market. So from July 6th, the monthly price of Xbox Game Pass subscription console will increase from $9 to $9.99 to $10.99, which is £7.99 to £8.99, or $9.99 in euros to $10.99 in euros too. So it's going up by £1 essentially. It's going up by £1 across the board. So at the same time, the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price will increase from $14.99 to $16.99 and $10.99 to $13.99 in pounds. $12.99 to $14.99 also in Europe in euros. PC Game Pass will not be changing. So JMK says in the chat, for the payers, we knew that this was going to happen. We genuinely knew that this was going to happen at some point, because as mentioned on this podcast over the last since its inception, essentially, Xbox make more money off their subscriptions than they think they do on their consoles. Like, I don't think they're making that much money on the consoles after finding all the parts, labor, distribution, shipment, everything else that comes along with it. I don't think they're making as much as they potentially should be doing. So having you in with subscription services is obviously the way that they're going to be able to do that. They keep on giving you games on day one on Game Pass, and we will keep our subscription going. They keep on changing the rotation of the games because they don't want the subscription to get stale. Essentially what's happened with Netflix. There isn't that much that comes onto Netflix now where you're keeping your subscription. You're probably subscribing on a film or a series by series basis, which is essentially what they don't want you to do. They want you to subscribe for a year or subscribe monthly and forget about it, because that's how they're going to make the most money out of you guys. So we knew that this was going to happen. I didn't think that they'd do it during a global crisis where the monthly household bills are through the roof, like in the UK at this moment in time. There was mentioning about inflation going up again yesterday, or the interest rates going up yesterday again. So your mortgage prices are going up by up to £50-60, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you don't have that much money to spread around, it is obviously a lot. So it interests me that they're doing this now, because I don't think that they needed to, especially with the Game Pass stuff. The materials might cost more to create the console this day and age, which is obviously why they're going to be putting the prices up, not significantly, but enough to be able to, you go, okay, I might get the Series S instead. But for a digital service, for a lot of the games that they own first party titles, if they're spending $69 billion trying to buy Activision and Blizzard, where's that money coming from? It's coming from subscription money that's going to be coming in, consoles sold, ads and things like that. So of course that they need to try and make their money back as quick as possible, and putting it up between £1 and £3 for the average consumer. Of course, that's the easiest way that they're going to be able to do that, considering how many people are subscribed to the service. So yeah, we knew that this day was going to come at some point. I just didn't think it would be during a time where people are obviously stretching their wallets as far as they could potentially go at this moment in time too. So Phony says same as what everybody else is doing, upping the prices of stuff, of course, because obviously materials and everything else cost money too, so they need to try and get that money back from somewhere. I just didn't think it would be a really sensitive time, I think is probably the word to be able to go. But if it's not now, when? If it's not now, will it go bust? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like we need to do this, or we might not be able to keep the subscription going. It's as simple as that. I imagine people who probably don't go out all that often or don't have that much disposable income, who are subscribed to Game Pass, are probably going to get they're going to get the same service. However, this is their vice. This is their, and I'm not doing anything. I'm going to be playing video games. It's worth every single penny for it. People might be willing to spend £20 a month. Let's not tell Microsoft that, but they might be willing to go up to, let me just turn Slack off, because if you guys have Slack at home, you're probably frantically looking at your Slack thinking it's going off, but I apologize, it's mine. But yeah, people are probably willing to spend up to $20 a month, £20 a month to be able to have Xbox Ultimate across PC and Xbox, or just the Xbox version, or just the PC version, because they're getting the money's worth out of it. I'm certainly getting my money's worth out of Game Pass, and I always have done. It's a subscription that I have had since its inception, in one form or another, whether or not it's just console or just PC. I've always had it. I've obviously now got Ultimate, because why would I be paying for two different subscriptions? So it's worth every single penny to me. I would happily spend that to be able to play games on demand as and when they end up coming out, especially first party titles when they eventually get thrown onto the service too. So yeah, it's worth every penny, but let's not make sure that Microsoft don't know that we're willing to spend that amount of money. And each says, I get Game Pass Ultimate as part of my phone contract. Do you get it for the duration of your contract, or do you only get it for a certain amount of time? Because that's a very good deal if that's the case. So you are getting something that would usually cost you £13 for free, essentially, on top of your normal phone bill. So again, worth every single penny if that's the case. I just did actually see another message from Unicio saying, what we need to be focusing on is I'm going to tan your ass around a Swift 18 this evening. Fucking bring it on, bitch. It's light work. And by the way, if you're playing it on fucking easy, I'm not playing you, because I had this with Vern. Vern was like, "Oh, smash you all over park." I play pro on Masters clubs, right? And then I played him, and the perfect circle is like that on mine. It's tiny, it's minuscule. However, Vern, it was like fucking that big. So he was just hitting perfect shots every single time, and I'm like, it's like playing with, it's like racing against someone with stabilizers and NOS. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm there, one wheel. I mean, your unicycle against someone with a fucking motorized bike or something. You know what I mean? Easy is the way. I'm not having it. I am not having it. But we could do some ranked duos. We can definitely do some ranked duos. So then, obviously, he'll end up putting you into the pro clubs. Not FIFA pro clubs, obviously. I'm not playing with them bums that are playing PUBG. Do you know what I mean? I'm not playing with them dossers. Never playing with them. Seen them play. Oh, my God. I've seen some shit. I've heard that Tito's the worst of the lot as well. I've heard that through the grapevine. The grapevine is a bit of a big mouth. Not naming any names. Nietzsche. So what's free on the Epic Games Store right now is written by Morgan Park over at PC Games. So get your Epic Games launcher loaded up, because we have some games for you today, boys. Outside the holidays, Epic sticks a weekly schedule for handing out freebies. So keep an eye each and every single week on the scoop, as we obviously bring you which games are available to be able to download right now on the Epic Games Store. And this week, you've got quite a number of games. So you've got The Hunter, Call of the Wild, Idle Champions for the Forgotten Realms, Wolfgar's Legends of Renown pack. Sure, this week's Epic 3D is an open-world hunting simulation featuring meticulously modelled landscapes, hunting weaponry, and game animals. But honestly, The Hunter, Call of the Wild is also just a nice game for a virtual walk through some pretty forests. I found this out by myself after tracking a buck across a few kilometres of woodland. Did I end up shooting it? Nope. Turns out just hunting is hard. Lovely scenery though. And you can also grab a bunch of free chests and other goodies for the Idle Championships of the Forgotten Realms. So if you're logging through the Epic Store between now and the June 29th of 2023. You'll be able to get both of those things, whether or not it be some packs for your Idle Champions game or shooting some game in the face. So yeah, go ahead, get them now. You'll have them in your Epic Games Store for life because there is no subscription over there for you to be able to subscribe to. So Phony says, I did it to Mr. Demos. He was playing on Pro while I whacked it on easy. That's outrageous. I am never, ever playing against you. Royal Ascot Day 4 predictions, apparently. All the best bets for Friday for the 29-1. I don't gamble, so I have no idea what they're going to be. Tito is just a Tory, apparently. Oh my God, says Phony. If Tito is lurking around it, I apologise because this slander is not coming out of my mouth. So JMK says, so Bibby's is a small and Vern's is a bigger. That's what I just heard. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not. I bet he's. Yeah, we're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into that one. But yeah, Vern's is way, way bigger than mine. Much bigger, some might say. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is your 3 news stories for today, and it's your final episode of The Scoop this week. We'll be back on Monday with the first episode of The Scoop next week. Hopefully, we're going to be in a position, at least for the next couple of weeks, where we're going to be able to bring you 5 episodes a week. So if you want to help shape those shows, there is 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you watch this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there below, but all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which is probably not going to be at 10 a.m. on Monday. Our Mondays are packed with calls with our clients and stuff. So I genuinely have no idea what time we'll be going live on Monday. It probably will be around lunchtime. I think that's actually our best bet. So around about 12 o'clock, we'll end up going live because we've got calls before and after. So yeah, it's probably going to be around dinner. So get that in your diaries if you've not already. I'll make a beeline to try and get it out and around dinner time, obviously, on Monday too. So there'll be no episode of Chasing Crates with Mates tomorrow. However, we'll be going live on Sunday evening, round about 7, half 7. Obviously, I want to be able to put my boy to bed, have some tea with Samantha, obviously, before I jump on, and then basically just wish her a good night for the night as we go and play some PGA stuff as well. So, yeah, we'll look to try and get on. It's probably going to be around half 7, if I'm being perfectly honest. We're going to play some PGA action as well. If Nietzsche's avoided me, will just be some 1v1 stuff, but you never know, he might make a grand appearance playing on easy mode. We'll have to wait and see. But until then, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to give you as many episodes of The Scoop this week that I have done. Stick around, though. We'll send you over to one of our friends who is currently streaming. And as always, there's one thing that we want you to do, my friends, and that is to stay frosty.